Welcome to our Chinese Finance and Economy Briefing Program. Today, we dive into Mexico's potential new tariffs on Chinese imports, a move signaling a shift in its diplomatic stance influenced by U.S. pressures. With the Mexican government recognizing the trade deficit with China, this could reshape trade dynamics and reduce reliance on Chinese goods. In another exciting development, China's recent high-profile forums highlight its rising influence while the West faces challenges. Premier Li Qiang's call for collaboration against U.S. protectionism resonates with global business leaders, but concerns about anti-China sentiment linger. As China navigates its international relations, it remains to be seen how these tensions will evolve. Lastly, the race in the electric vehicle sector heats up as Chinese manufacturers surpass Tesla in autonomous driving technology. With significant investments and advancements in self-driving systems, companies like BYD and Xpeng are leading the charge, leaving Tesla to catch up. As the competition intensifies, the landscape of smart vehicles in China is rapidly changing. Please stay tuned for more detailed coverage. Nikkei Asia, the Mexican government is contemplating the imposition of new tariffs on Chinese imports, marking a significant shift in its trade policy amid the backdrop of U.S. tariffs under the Trump administration. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent highlighted the idea of creating a Fortress North America by aligning Mexico's tariffs with those of the U.S. In 2023, Mexico became the largest exporter to the U.S., overtaking China, largely due to the relocation of Chinese manufacturers to Mexican soil. However, the relationship has soured, with President Claudia Sheinbaum's administration now echoing U.S. concerns about Chinese imports, particularly in textiles and small-value merchandise. The government has implemented tariffs of up to 35% on textiles and initiated a crackdown on counterfeit goods, signaling a decisive move towards economic decoupling from China. South China Morning Post, recent high-level forums in China have underscored a growing sentiment among Chinese academics and business leaders that the East is on the rise while the West is in decline. Premier Li Qiang's address at the China Development Forum emphasized collaboration against U.S. protectionism, while the BOA Forum for Asia celebrated China's expanding influence globally. Prominent figures, including economists and corporate leaders, expressed a shift in preference towards engaging with China over the U.S., citing frustrations with visa issues and border restrictions in the latter. However, there remains a cautious optimism as the potential for sudden reversals looms large, reminiscent of past sentiments when China was isolated during its strict zero-COVID policy. The call for China to adopt a more modest approach in its international dealings reflects the complex dynamics at play, as negative perceptions of China persist in the West. South China Morning Post, in the race for autonomous driving technology, Chinese electric vehicle (EV) manufacturers are rapidly outpacing Tesla, as evidenced by consumer experiences and technological advancements. A recent test of Tesla's full self-driving feature revealed shortcomings compared to local competitors like Xpeng, which has successfully integrated superior navigation systems. The Chinese EV market, characterized by fierce competition and rapid innovation, has seen companies like BYD and Xpeng leading the charge in autonomous capabilities. With significant government support and a burgeoning tech ecosystem, including LiDAR technology, Chinese firms are investing heavily in self-driving research. Analysts predict that the race for Level 3 autonomy will determine the future of the market, as companies aim to produce affordable vehicles equipped with advanced driving systems. Meanwhile, Baidu's Apollo Go service has emerged as a leader in the autonomous ride-hailing sector, further solidifying China's position in the global automotive landscape. South China Morning Post reports that recent diplomatic engagements between China and Europe, particularly with French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot and EU Trade Chief Maros Sefcovic visiting Beijing, signal a potential thaw in their historically strained relationship. The discussions highlighted a commitment to the Paris Agreement and plans for high-level dialogues on strategic and economic issues, but tensions over trade and the Ukraine conflict remain. Barrot emphasized the need for China to play a constructive role in ending the Ukraine crisis, while both sides acknowledged the necessity of addressing their differences through dialogue. Analysts noted that the changing geopolitical landscape, particularly the impact of the Trump administration, has prompted Europe to reconsider its stance towards China, although significant hurdles still exist, such as internal EU divisions and ongoing sanctions against Chinese entities. South China Morning Post also highlights Google's recent shift in its Android development strategy, which has stirred anxiety among Chinese developers who rely on the open-source platform. Google assured its partners in China that it would continue to upload the full code for future Android updates to the Android open-source project, despite concerns that future versions would be developed internally and shared only when major updates are ready. This change has raised fears of increased costs and fragmentation within the Android ecosystem, particularly as Huawei's HarmonyOS gains traction among developers. While some developers remain optimistic that the shift will not significantly impact their work, the discussion around Google's transparency has sparked widespread debate within the Chinese tech community. South China Morning Post further reports on the urgent call for Chinese electric vehicle (EV) manufacturers to accelerate their global expansion efforts despite facing significant tariff challenges. Industry experts, including former government officials, emphasize the need for Chinese companies to diversify their strategies, balancing exports with localized production to navigate the evolving global market. With the US and EU imposing high tariffs on Chinese vehicles, the traditional export model is under strain. Key players like Geely and BYD are already exploring production facilities in Southeast Asia and forming joint ventures to adapt to foreign markets. The forum underscored that globalizing is not merely optional but essential for the survival and growth of Chinese EV makers in a rapidly transforming automotive landscape. South China Morning Post reports on the London Technology Club, LTC, a venture capital firm that is expanding into Hong Kong and raising a $250 million fund, with one-third of the capital expected from Asia. CEO Konstantin Sidorov emphasized Hong Kong's strategic importance as a hub for investment opportunities in technology, particularly in fast-scaling companies valued between $100 million and $1 billion. The fund will focus on late-stage investments in sectors such as fintech and energy transition. LTC's recent investments include secondary transactions in UK-based AI company Builder.ai and US-based Hayden AI. The firm aims to grow its membership in Hong Kong, attracting high-net-worth individuals and institutional investors. CNN highlights Chinese President Xi Jinping's efforts to attract foreign investment amidst escalating trade tensions with the United States. Meeting with top global executives, Xi painted China as a safe and promising destination for investment, urging multinational corporations to resist protectionism and maintain a stable global supply chain. This push comes as China grapples with declining foreign direct investment, which dropped significantly in recent months. Xi's reassurances aim to bolster confidence in China's economy, which faces challenges such as a struggling property market and weak consumer spending. Notably, Apple CEO Tim Cook pledged to increase investment in China's supply chain, reflecting the ongoing complexity of US-China relations. Nikkei Asia discusses how US sanctions have inadvertently strengthened China's competitive edge in technology. The successful launch of Chinese AI firm DeepSeek underscores the resilience of Chinese entrepreneurs, who are increasingly looking beyond their borders for growth opportunities. Investors are exploring two primary strategies: following Chinese entrepreneurs investing abroad and targeting companies facing US sanctions. The article notes that while US biotech firms have traditionally led in innovation, Chinese companies are rapidly catching up, offering more cost-effective solutions. As sanctions push China towards self-reliance, they may inadvertently stifle American innovation, creating a complex landscape for global investors. Nikkei Asia reports that Chinese President Xi Jinping recently convened a meeting with over 40 global CEOs in Tokyo, urging them to help safeguard the multilateral trading system amidst rising trade tensions with the US. Xi emphasized the vital role of foreign multinationals in maintaining global economic stability, countering US protectionist policies. He touted China as an ideal hub for technological and industrial transformation, appealing to the executives from key sectors such as semiconductors and pharmaceuticals. The meeting followed a month after Xi's discussions with Chinese entrepreneurs, highlighting the government's commitment to supporting the private sector as the economy faces challenges from declining foreign investment and a shrinking foreign workforce. Despite these hurdles, Xi's call for cooperation reflects China's desire to foster goodwill with international business leaders, aiming for them to advocate for continued access to technology and markets. Meanwhile, the report notes a significant drop in foreign direct investment and a decline in the foreign workforce in cities like Shanghai, underscoring the complex landscape that foreign companies navigate in China. In a show of support, Apple CEO Tim Cook also made headlines by donating to a local university while praising China's software development scene during his visit. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.
Empty smiles, their words misleading. Power games in darkened rooms. Spend their lives to seal our doom. Oh, oh, oh. Turn on the screen, monsters screaming. Empty smiles, their words misleading. Voices lost.